So we're still on verse 1 with the thought of attaining and awakening for the welfare of all beings who are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel. I will constantly practice holding them dear. So I think we have to really practice seeing other people as wish-fulfilling jewels. Yeah. So to do that, we have to do something about our anger, because our anger really is a big obstacle to seeing people as wish-fulfilling jewels. We usually see them as anti-wish-fulfilling idiots, you know. So this is something with our anger. And our anger is related to our judgmental mind, isn't it? You know, because we look at people and then we evaluate them according to our criteria and we judge them. And then anybody that we have a negative impression of, the mind goes to aversion. Okay, we may not get manifestly angry at them initially, but the anger is right there because we've made a judgment, you know, and the anger is going to come up like that because all they have to do is say hello. And then they said hello the wrong way. Okay, so you know people like that who say hello the wrong way. When we're in a bad mood, we will find somebody to get mad at. And really, all they have to do is say hello. Sometimes they don't have to say hello. They just walk in the room. And then, yeah. So it's very interesting, you know, observe when this happens. The other person hasn't said or done anything. So where is all this emotion on our part coming from? Okay, whether it's suspicion, aggression, fear. Yeah, where is all of this coming from? You know, especially in situations where the person really, you know, they haven't done anything. You know, some situations, I mean, they put the spatula in the wrong place. But again, why do I have to go in a rage over where somebody put the spatula? You know, this actually, when that happens, it really has nothing to do with the other person and everything to do with the state of my mind. Why is something so small like that becoming so significant in my mind, as if it's a life and death issue? Yeah? I find that coming up sometimes in meetings, especially long ones. I'm not a fan of meetings. I think all of you know that. And especially long meetings, where people say things 10 gazillion times instead of getting to the point. And then somebody says some idea that I don't agree with, and it's like I stop yawning and I sit up, and I've got to jump in and interrupt right now. Otherwise, this idea is going to take over the world, which will then crash. You know? It's amazing. I mean, do you have situations like that where that it comes so strongly and you have to intercede right then and there? And it's like, but why? You know, it's so interesting to stop at that moment. Why am I having such a strong reaction to this? They just said some words that I disagree with. Yeah. But lots of times, if I just ignore those words in the meeting, nobody else adopts them. Person says it and it's forgotten. Yeah. Sometimes maybe somebody will come back to it. Then maybe I need to chime in. But if at the very beginning I interrupt and I say something, I'm actually drawing people's attention to that issue, which is something they may have forgotten. Yeah. Are you getting what I mean? It's kind of like every time Trump says there's no collusion, what do we think? There's a collusion. Otherwise, why is this guy talking so much about no collusion? If there's no collusion, he would go testify and he would stop all this defending himself. So it's the same thing. If somebody says some idea that I don't agree with, if I immediately jump in and I have to put them in their place, otherwise this idea is going to be scorched earth policy, I'm drawing more attention to it. Yeah. And then, of course, how I express my idea usually isn't so smooth, and it's in a certain tone of voice. So then the other people in the meeting don't listen to the words I'm saying, they only hear the tone of voice. And that tone of voice, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's interesting also in our own experience to see when we use certain tone of voices, how people react, but how we react sometimes to people's voice and forget about the content of what they're saying. We're just reacting to the voice, how they're saying it. So it could be, please pass the ketchup, or please pass the ketchup. Okay? So these are all things, when we notice our mind going in that direction, to stop and why is this such a big deal for me? Yeah, especially when other people aren't reacting to it at all. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes there are reasons for it. I mean, for example, here in the monastery, part of my job is to oversee certain things that nobody else pays attention to, or that people may pay attention to, but nobody is going to comment on. So I'm the one who has to comment on them. So sometimes it's appropriate to jump in and say things. Yeah, but sometimes not. Okay, but the thing to watch is, for the anger and the judgment. Yeah, because that is coming from us. Yeah, I like this. I don't like that. Yeah, becomes this is good, this is bad. So instead of even keeping it on a level of personal preference, we give it moral value, which is ridiculous. Yeah, burnt bread is bad. It's unethical. Yeah, you broke your precepts if you burnt the bread. Yeah, so this kind of thing, to be quite careful of, and to watch that anger come in our mind, and what is behind it. What is our usual way of relating to people one in which we automatically presuppose threat? Yeah. Or is our way of relating to people one which is automatically loving kindness? As we were saying when we went through the four measurables, the usual way to approach people, metta, loving kindness, friendliness. But some of us, that's not our usual way of approaching people when we meet people. The first thing is, what are they going to do to me? Are they going to threaten me? Do they think they're better than me? Are they going to put me down? Are they going to shame me? Are they this? Are they that? All of that is coming from us. So very interesting to watch and see, you know, what we bring to a situation that contributes to our anger. Mm-hmm. And especially in this day and age of identity politics, you know, where what you bring to just an encounter with somebody is all your identities. And so, you know, somebody's got to use the right pronoun when they talk to you. They can't do anything about your culture, say anything about that. That's cultural appropriation. That's bad. They can't do this. They can't do that. Yeah, and we come with all these rules ready to get angry if somebody doesn't follow our rules, which we assume that the whole world must know. Yeah. So it creates some problems, doesn't it? You know? It becomes so difficult to see all sentient beings as wish-fulfilling gems if our habitual mind is suspicious and has a whole checklist of things that this person must do for us to consider them worthwhile, or must not do, or else. Okay. So let's be aware of this kind of thing when it happens in us, and check. You know, His Holiness always says the best laboratory is the one in here. This is our research laboratory. Yeah. So it isn't always, why don't these people understand me? It's, why am I judging other people? Flip the question.